If you're buying or even thinking about buying a home in Arizona, the buyer advisory is a document you can't afford to ignore. Let's take a look at how this one document could save you money and a lifetime of headaches on your next purchase. Let's go. Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Lindsay with the Wise Move AZ team at Realty ONE Group. If you want to stay up to date on all things Anthem and real estate, then you need to hit that subscribe button. Pro tip, you're also going to want to hit the little bell icon so that you're the first to know when our new videos are posted every single Thursday. Are you thinking about buying a home in Arizona? If so, congratulations! Buying a home can be extremely rewarding, but it can also be a very stressful time for some buyers. I'm here to arm you with the best resource to help make the process of buying a home in Arizona as smooth as possible. The Buyer Advisory is a standardized document created by the Arizona Association of Realtors. This 14-page document is hands down my favorite resource to pass along to buyer clients. Unlike some documents you'll sign when buying a house, the Buyer Advisory is easy to read, and its sole purpose is to make you a savvy buyer who has all the tools they need to make an informed decision. When it comes time to buy a house, you'll be signing what feels like a ton of documents, and I know, it's easy to glaze over and just sign. But I want you to promise me that you won't do that with the Buyer Advisory. Say it with me. I promise to read the whole Buyer Advisory cover to cover and ask any questions I may have. Good. Now you might be wondering, where do I get a copy of this super amazing Buyer Advisory? I've got you covered. We have a link to the full document in the description box below, so you can go ahead and grab it now, or you can grab it at the end of this video. We are so lucky to have a Buyer Advisory in Arizona. Many states don't have anything like it. This one document helped to get rid of a number of addenda that we used to have to get clients to sign. The great thing about the Buyer Advisory is that it's regularly updated by the lovely folks at the Arizona Association of Realtors to ensure that you always have the most relevant information. So if you download a copy today but don't end up buying a house in Arizona for a few months or even longer, touch base with me and I will happily ensure that you have the most up-to-date version. I strongly recommend that you read the Buyer Advisory prior to making an offer on a home because it may highlight things that you want to consider doing or investigating during your due diligence period, which, unless otherwise negotiated, ends 10 days after you have a fully accepted offer. You should be going into your due diligence period as prepared as you possibly can. Let's dive in and see what you can expect to find in this very important document. The Buyer Advisory is split into 5 sections. In this video, I'll give you a brief overview of what you can expect to find in each of the 5 sections, but if you want all the information, you're going to have to read the full document. Nobody wants to sit here while I read all 14 pages. Section 1, Common Documents a Buyer Should Review. I love this section because it gives you links to a bunch of sample documents. For example, you could read through the entire standardized purchase contract before ever making an offer on a home so that you know exactly what you're committing to. It also walks you through all of the documents you should be reading when purchasing a home, including the MLS printout, the subdivision disclosure report, the seller property disclosure statement, the CC&Rs, which stand for covenants, conditions, and restrictions, and so much more. There will be a lot of documents coming at you when you're buying a home, and the Buyer Advisory is great because it highlights which ones are most important and why. Knowledge is power when it comes to buying a house, so make sure that you're as informed as you can be. This section of the Buyer Advisory also stresses the importance of home inspections. If you have more questions about home inspections, click to watch this video here. Section 2, Common Physical Conditions in the Property a Buyer Should Investigate. This section has really great insights about things you should pay attention to and even gives you recommendations on when you should consider bringing in a professional. For example, the Buyer Advisory tells you that if you're buying a home with a roof that's 10 years of age or older, you may want to consider getting a roof inspection. It even gives you a link of where you can find a roof inspector. Did I mention how much I love this document? This section also talks about things like soil condition, pests, and fun things like the fact that there's no liability for failing to disclose natural deaths, murders, suicides, or felonies on the property. Creepy, right? That means it's up to you to investigate these things on your own if they're important to you. Section 3, Conditions affecting the area surrounding the property the buyer should investigate. This section talks about researching crime statistics, the existence of electromagnetic fields, and the potential for aircraft noise. I promise this guide will bring up things you never would have thought about. If you do all this research, just think how prepared you'll be when it comes to your due diligence period. You're going to be a home buying superstar. On a very serious note, one really important and potentially uncomfortable part of this section is the presence of sex offenders in the vicinity of the property. This is not something that the sellers or the real estate agents are required to disclose. But don't worry, this amazing document gives you a link to a website where you can go on, punch in the address of the property, and find out if there are any sex offenders in the area and what the nature of their crime was. I cannot stress the importance of this enough, especially if you have or plan to have kids in the home. Section 4, other methods of getting information about the property. This is a really light section that encourages you to talk to the neighbors, drive around the neighborhood, and use things like Google Earth to get a sense of your surroundings. And last but not least, Section 5, resources. This section talks about things like the cyclical nature of the real estate market, fair housing and disability laws, and the risk of wire fraud in a real estate transaction. So that's it. Most agents will simply have you sign off on the last page of the buyer advisory acknowledging that you received it, but don't forget that you promised me you'll read it cover to cover. These 14 pages pack a wealth of knowledge that are going to ensure that you're a savvy and well-informed buyer. So if you haven't already done so, don't forget to jump down to the description box below to grab your copy of the buyer advisory right now. And if you enjoyed this video, let me know by hitting that like button, subscribing to our channel, and sharing this video with your friends. See you next Thursday.